Welcome, SICHL GMs, to a very special video edition of the Week 17 and 18 Power Rankings. And you're probably wondering, Henry, who is that dastardly handsome gentleman sitting to your left? That's not Eric or Matt McInnes, the only other members that have ever hosted a video Power Rankings before. Well, you're right, it's not Eric and it's not Matt. It is our fearless leader, your commissioner, and GM of the Fredericton Express, Mark MacRae. Mark, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me, Henry.
At Shea Ski, only the best.
It's a true honor to be a guest on the Power Rankings, the most watched video on SICHL.com.
Matt and Eric, pay attention. This is how you should treat me. This is how you should feel when I let you on my rankings. Thank you, Mark. It's very kind. So this is the 1, 2, 3. This is actually the 4th video Power Rankings we've ever done. We've done 2 preseason video rankings, and then I did one mid-one last year, but we've never done one specially for the trades. This was deadline day. It was about, what, like 10 minutes ago was the deadline?
Pretty much.
Or about an hour ago now.
Oh yeah,
Time flies when you're having
fun. 1
fun.
hour ago. The deadline is just passed.
And there was a flurry of trades. So Mark has journeyed to the land of Victoria, and we're going to focus the rankings on trades, on a team's trades throughout the season, and did they make any deadline deals? And there were a lot of really exciting deals right up until the deadline. Isn't that right, Mark?
In fact, we had a little bit of controversy right at the end.
Oh,
One of the
I like controversy.
very last
Juicy
deals.
gossip.
One of the very last deals, the second to last deal to get in about 20 minutes under the deadline. Most likely the largest deal potentially happened, but we had a bit of a fax machine issue.
Oh dear. Perhaps a technological error?
Confirmation of one of the GMs sort of kinda got in, so we're gonna say the deal probably is happening.
Okay.
I'm gonna give them some leeway because I think there was a confirmation. It just seemed to have been lost.
If you want to punish them, we can give them like draft picks to beat.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep that under consideration.
Very good, very good. That basically means yes. So, sorry guys. You got to get those trades in on time. So what we're going to do is we are going to go through each team pretty quick here. We're going to do about a minute or so per team. So if you don't get a lot of airtime, don't complain. Nobody's getting a lot of airtime except Mark and me because we're hosting video rankings. This is really, that's... If we had
Why
to
don't we
pick,
just skip ahead to the Expressing
we
Gladiators?
should. Just the Express and the Gladiators are really the only teams these guys want to hear about. So here, without any further ado, here we go. The Rapids, unshockingly, are number 28, which is fine. Sam's not worried about this year. So we wrote that there were no deadline deals for Sam, but he's done a great job stocking up on future talent. His last deal was on December 30th, securing Bobby Butler and Darnell Nurse, who I learned today is Donovan McNabb's nephew. I learned that on the J and Dan
Interesting
podcast.
fact.
It is interesting. And we're all about interesting facts here. They've done some great jobs getting rid of anybody immediately useful.
That's true.
It's not their MO.
No, but watch out for the Rapids because
Mark's telling me about this earlier.
I think the Rapids might be the better version of what the Bears are now. Sorry, Guy.
Actually, I'm not sorry.
What Sam is building is scary. He has 5 first-round picks this year. He has a ton of future talent. He's been quiet so far since joining the league, but he's going to be making.
He's made rapid progress.
He's been making rapid progress. Nice.
Yeah, I have good writers here. Number 27. Moving on to the Revolution, and I have completely screwed up the mouse. That's good. Mm-hmm. We're getting there. One of these days, I'll learn how to use a computer. Okay, so Jeff, at the deadline, the Revolution said au revoir to Giguere. In return, they got a 6th-round pick. So that's a trade.
Yeah, didn't they also, isn't there like $1 million traded as well?
I think they also suffered $1 million... I feel like we did a lot of research, but now...
No, I think the deal was J.S. Giguere and almost $1 million for a 6th-round pick.
It's a bit of an odd trade.
It's basically almost $1 million for a 6th-round pick. My question was, how bad is Jiggy's contract status that him plus $1 million equals a 6th-round pick?
It's so bad that Mark and I aren't even going to look it up.
No.
Because why would we?
I'm not even sure if what I've just said is correct at all.
Here's the thing. A lot of trades happened. A lot of people got flipped around.
There were a lot of trades.
You're going to be watching this video and you're going to be like, wrong. I traded him after I traded for him. We get that. All complaints, please see the comments box where I will ignore them very quickly. Number 26, we have the Millionaires. I should mention that that the Revolution also got Jimmy Howard.
That's pretty big.
That's a good one. Is Howard injured in the NHL right now, though?
I think he probably is. I don't know. Detroit's playing terribly, so...
Yeah, well, they beat up the Penguins, and it was grumble.
But, I mean, everybody's beating the Penguins.
Penguins are not good. The Millionaires. Chasm. 5-5 in his last 10. Chasm.
The Millionaires are on fire.
They are on fuego. No deadline deals, but Chasm has been busy. The most notorious deal of the year was Chasm received Kristers Gudlevskis and a fourth from the Schooners for Merid Zidlicki, and $1 million. That's a good deal.
I think it's a terrible deal. Kristers.
No, it was good because we got to do the $1 million bit. Yeah, it was a fun deal.
How do you say his last name? Gudlevskis?
Gudlevskis
is never going to make the NHL. He's a flash in the pan, showed up at the Olympics or something, and is going to be in the AHL forever.
Gudlevski sounds like what a really drunk person would tell me, good luck.
Yeah.
They'd be like, good luck, see.
Yeah.
Something like that. But it was a fun trade because we got to do our Dr. Evil. So thank you, Chasm.
Yeah.
We're moving along. We're quick today. The Crunch, Chabro.
Number 25.
Chabro.
Chabroni.
The Kirks. Ooh, the Crunch's biggest deal. I call them the Kirks.
The Kirks.
The Kansas City Kirks. Think about that, Kirk. That's good. The Crunch's biggest deal of the year was picking up goaltender Pekka Rinne. That's going to work out pretty well for them this year. From the Express. That's you.
Yeah.
That's you.
That's true.
Kirk has stood his ground, acquiring a massive fortune. Kirk is on pace to have how much money in the bank by the end of the season?
Approximately $100 million more than anybody else in the league, I think is fair to say.
That's a lot of money.
119 point something.
I'm worried about keeping the lights on in my arena, and Kirk could probably buy the city of Hamburg.
Yeah. I mean, you say his biggest deal was getting Pekka Rinne. I think his biggest deal was cresting the $100 million mark.
Has anyone ever done that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's pretty impressive. I know there's a few teams. I don't think any team is in complete financial ruin, although I haven't checked recently.
There are several teams that are below zero, but nobody's in dire
Nobody's negative $100 million.
But Kirk definitely could bail everybody out and still win every free agent.
If I go minus $100 million, will I get bailed out?
No.
Moving on. Kirk, I might have to email him. We may have to talk. Sheetal's Tigers. As Mark, the rankings this year, Mark was sitting there doing his work, and a lot of my power rankings entries, I was just describing what Mark was doing. So I say here, as Mark sits gallantly beside me, proclaiming that Sheetal has acquired Dmitry Orlov from the Norsemen for Carl Hagelin, I can't help but think this trade must have been inspired by a ludicrous amount of alcohol. And to celebrate this factoid, Mark and I are sharing a delicious brew. Here's to you, Sheetal, and your Tigers of Tomorrow. I feel like that's one of those real American hero ads with Budweiser's.
We did share a delicious brew earlier.
It was. We had a Herminator and
we're trying to stay sober for this Power Rankings video.
We want to make sure
that previous Power Rankings videos.
Yeah, I am not getting that drunk again. I can't keep up with Matt. I just got back from California. I can't do that. So this is the most sober group Power Rankings I've ever done. I gotta say, you'd think it'd be a lot easier, but I've still mumbled a lot and screwed up the computer. So
that's all right.
We'll keep trying.
We got 20 teams to go.
We're gonna roll on. The Titans. Mark is smiling, reminding me that he acquired... Sometimes I can't read my own entries without laughing. I'm sorry. But Mark is smiling because he reminded me that he acquired Simeon Varlamov from Derek in exchange for Killorn. Oh, Killorn or Killom?
Alex Killorn.
I know, but I think I spelled it Killom. Mm-hmm. And a couple of prospects. And why you have to be mad, Ilya Brizgalov. I would say ouch, but Derek's probably already said that enough. No need to kick a man when he's down, especially since Killorn is probably going to do great things next year. So you're happy you got Varlamov.
See, I was in a situation with Rinne, where he was rated terribly this season in the SICHL, having missed almost the entire previous NHL season.
As one does.
But I had a team, I tend to think that I had a pretty good defensive lineup. I had some decent offensive threats. I just had no goaltending. And
See
so
that look I made?
had to
That's
flip.
like 3 defenders with 90+ defense. Yeah, it's okay.
So, but I wanted to have a starting goalie, so I went after Varlamov. I mean, Derek had 2. He didn't need both of them.
Derek, don't be greedy.
I had
Just
Rene.
give me a goalie.
And as you say, Killorn. I don't know. Killorn has been
having a good
magic.
He's having a good year.
With Stamkos. So and a couple other prospects that may pan out.
No team, I think, over the I think this is my 3rd or 4th year doing the rankings. I think 3rd year. No team has gone, I think, more places, has seen more movement than the Titans. They are all over the place. I think they're going to end up in like the bottom 5, but like they roller coaster more than the Huskies.
I thought the Titans were going to be solidly a playoff team this year. I'm surprised
they are solidly
clearly
not.
Are solidly not.
Solidly not. Sorry, Derek. Also, a team that has just plummeted after being on a hot streak is at number 22, the Vancouver Vipers. So Bryce did not make any deadline deals, but he did get Jonas Hiller in exchange for Nabokov and a 3rd, which is a smart deal considering how well Hiller's probably going to be rated next year, Mark. What do you think?
That's a solid deal.
I would say so. I don't make solid deals, so that's why Mark is here. Because oftentimes I'll be like, this trade $1 million, awesome.
No, I would say that acquiring Jonas Hiller this year, solid deal.
Is it Jonas or Jonas?
I don't know.
Let's say Jonas.
Jonas?
It's more fun.
Jonas Hiller.
Jonas Hiller. He did also give up Joel Ward, Brooks Laich, and $1 million for Andrew Cogliano, who needs Andrew Ferentz. Katie did. He shipped him off. So Bryce did make some deals, but I think he's sort of given up on the idea that he's going to make the playoffs this year.
It kind of seems so, which is disappointing to me because I'm hoping that he's going to finish ahead of the next team that's coming up in the rankings.
Good segue. 21st is the Slammers. And the reason you want the Slammers to fail is because you hate Pat.
I hate Pat.
You hate Pat. Yeah,
that's the only reason.
Yeah.
I've always hated him.
And there's no other reason. And you do have his 1st round pick.
I also have his first round pick.
You have his 1st round pick. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Breaking deal. The Slammers were tired of Vincent Lecavalier, and who isn't at this point, and the Flyers are. So they shipped him off to Calgary for Pat Maroon and Nick Jensen. They also traded away Stefan Robida and a 6th round pick to Boston for Francis Perron. Pat's been very busy, and his playoff race articles I also thought were really cool, showing the strength of schedule. Is a stat that takes a lot of time to figure out, but it's really cool.
I quite enjoyed those articles.
I did too.
I mean, they weren't quite power rankings quality. I don't.
Well, I mean,
they were up there.
Yeah. What do you think about Karlsson and the Bobby Orr Trophy?
I'm still confused because I really, Pat seems to think that Karlsson is eligible for the Bobby Orr, but I thought it was pretty clear that the Bobby Orr Trophy is for the most valuable defenseman.
Defense is a position played behind the forwards.
If there was an award for the player who played the most time in the wrong position,
right?
Like say a guy who should be playing forward, but for some reason keeps going out on a D pair,
right.
Then Karlsson would win that hands.
Sure, or like a goalie that goes and sells popcorn in the stands.
Yeah,
he's really good at that. He'd be the best at a position.
That's an excellent analogy.
Well, I'm full of something, and good analogies is one of them. Number 20, we're going to move on to Norm's been a little quiet.
A little too quiet.
A little too Raph. It's better on the video. So Pat mentioned that Norm hasn't missed the playoffs in about 6-7 years. With the lack of deadline deals, is Norm going to miss it this year?
He doesn't still have James Reimer, does he?
I think he might have Optimus Rhyme.
If he still has James Reimer, there's no way he's making the playoffs.
Distract them. Talk about something while I look that up.
Well, here, I'll finish. What did you say? Oh, yeah, he got rid of...
James Reimer is his starting goalie at 66. Norm's starting two goalies are Reimer and Emery, both rated 66.
Hey, Emery's a solid guy.
Oh, what?
James Reimer, lovely person, not a starting goalie.
But neither is Ray Emery. Emery's rated 66 too.
No, but he's...
How did the Fireheads win with this goaltending?
That's interesting.
It is interesting. And annoying. Norm, I want to make the playoffs. You've made the playoffs enough. And then, of course, we have to throw this in there that Norm has likely been busy being Dad of the Year, which is a pretty good award, but the rule of acquisition number 6 says you don't let family get in the way of financial opportunity. So you want to keep that in mind as well.
It's true. Henry actually looked that up before we started.
That's what the Ferengian's in there. It's a rule of acquisition. Rule of acquisition.
Number 19.
It's the Shamrocks. The Shamrocks almost crashed the server. They made so many trades.
Hey, we're trading.
And Ryan, you didn't get back to me about Corey Potter, and now you can't have him. I bet you're devastated.
No, I think Ryan apparently doesn't think that I have anything better to do than to be processing trades every single night.
Yeah, you're a secretary.
He made more trades than anybody in the last 5 years. Like, I don't know how many trades he made this year.
I couldn't even keep up. He did ship off probably his biggest trade. He shipped off Pavel Datsyuk.
Nothing says giving up like shipping away Pavel Datsyuk.
But he's right in there. He's right in the playoff hunt.
I don't understand it.
You know what though? Knowing the sim, this may make him better somehow.
If you want to make the playoffs, trading away Pavel Datsyuk does not seem like the first move that comes to mind.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the first move, but the sim is so crazy that it may actually end up making him go on like a 10-game win streak.
It could be genius. It could be.
There's a very fine line between madness and genius. Is Ryan treading that line? Number 18, we have the Colonials. Boston, to quote our commissioner, has made a buttload of trades. Also a buttload of trades.
That's a strong paraphrase.
It's a strong word from a not-so-strong man, Henry Ski. Boston's made 11 in total before the deadline. So he has acquired this year, not saying he still has them, but he has acquired this year Pietrangelo, Drew Stafford, Jonas Hiller, Joe Thornton, Zach Parise, Silverberg, Janmark, I don't know, Tim Gleason, Anton Strawman, Patrick Eliash, Nabokov, Kessler, he has been so busy. And I think it's in response to how his team is not at the top of the standings, which we predicted at the preseason rankings. Boston was our number one. Not we, I mean the royal we. Me and Eric and Matt. Right. We predicted that Boston would be the number one team, and they're not in the... Wait, are they in the playoffs right now?
I think they're...
Yep, they are. They're tied. They're right in there with the Shamrocks.
Yeah.
But still, to me, they're a number one roster.
Well, they were. And then as you said, they acquired a lot of talent.
A lot of
they
trades.
signed a lot of guys. They made a lot of trades to acquire, and then half of those guys you named, they traded them away. So, I mean...
There is something to be said for someone being proactive. And I like the philosophy of if it's not working, you got to change it up. If what you have isn't working, you've tried retooling the lines and you've tried changing the offensive pressure or whoever's out there in your last minute and it doesn't work, change it up. Because the sim is not going to let you win with a roster that just keeps on losing.
I think, honestly, the sim is punishing the Colonials for moving away from New York because they had a great fan base in New York.
Yeah, New York Empire. Yeah, we don't have a team in New York.
No.
That makes sense.
I mean, Boston...
New York's only like the biggest city in the world.
Boston is a great hockey town.
Oh, sure.
But well... the sim, obviously, is New York biased.
You know what? I should have given you... I gave Mark a glass of water because I'm a good host. We have a Boston Bruins mug.
Well, it's always tomorrow night.
They gave it to Kyla as a prank because when they beat the Canucks, she was sad. Which I thought you'd enjoy. I should have... When we make our morning tea, I'll give you that mug. So number 17, another team that's basically, to me, the Colonials in the Canadian Conference, the Falcons. And Mark says, fear the Falcons?
Fear the Falcons.
Whatever for.
They were a good team, and now they've loaded up with a few extra pieces, and I don't really understand why they are where they are in the standings.
They also don't make any sense.
But I feel like...
They are the reigning champions.
You do not want to face the reigning champs.
No, I don't. I mean, I won't because I'm not going to make it to the finals, but someone will.
Clearly you're not.
Clearly I'm not. This isn't...
But I might have to.
The days of 84 Mike Smith are long gone. Does Guy want to face anybody less in the first round than the Falcons?
I don't think Guy really cares who he faces. He probably expects he's going 16-0, but the Falcons, I would say the Falcons are probably the scariest team.
Are they like a dark horse?
Other than the Bears right now in the Canadian Conference.
Really? They're the one too? Yeah, I agree. Moving on. Oh, one of my favorite teams in the league, the Hamburg Gladiators. So the only trade I've made all year is when I got rid of Shea Weber.
Questionable move at best.
Big time. But I somehow became better for it.
Well, again, the sim.
It's true. The sim doesn't like good players.
I like that your biggest argument towards or supporting that trade was that you're like, hey, I don't make that many trades. At least I should make a big one.
I had fun doing it.
No, well, that's good.
I had fun.
You know,
so I traded.
We're all about fun in the SICHL.
We're all about fun. And I'm not going to be good next year. And I didn't want Shea Weber to be wasted.
Fair.
I mean, drunk, like, if we want to go out partying, like, that's fine.
Yeah,
I would party with Shea Weber. I felt... I don't know what I felt. I'm not the best GM results-wise. I like to think of it more as like an experience, that I have a lot of fun. Plus, I do the power rankings, which is really, it's all I got. That's all I got. We spent way too much time on me. It's okay, we'll spend way too much time on you.
I think one last point about your team. I think I heard a rumor through the SICHL Insider that you made a real strong push to acquire a certain goaltender.
I did. Yeah.
And Andrew Hamburglar Hammond, which unfortunately could not be consummated before the deadline.
Norm is gripping on to Hammond like a juicy hamburger. Right. And we all know that Hammond's destiny is to be on the Gladiators. His nickname is the Hamburglar.
I don't really see the connection, but I know that
it's okay. It's a faint one.
So I thought we should mention it. Anyway.
Well, Norm, we just discussed Norm's starting goalies are both 66 rated, so he may want to hang on to that one.
I can understand that.
I can see that. The Spartans made some smart moves, flipping high-end star Joe Thornton for, along with Phil Kessel, Brian Little, Matthew Perreault, and Marcus Granlund. Mark, what do you think about the deals that the Spartans have made? I should also mention that they got Nino Niederreiter and a first for Brett Tarangelo, Drew Stafford, and those were sort of his major deals. Mark seems to think the Spartans were one of the big winners today.
I think, this is kind of on the season. We're talking about their trades throughout the year, but
sure.
I really like Niederreiter. I've been watching a lot of Minnesota this year, watching my boy Charlie Coyle. And,
everyone loves Charlie Coyle.
Charlie's had kind of an up and down year, but Niederreiter has been consistently pretty good all year, and I think he's going to be great things for St. Louis. And what was the other deal? Oh yeah, Perreault and
Granlund and Little for
Little is one of those like quietly like
very underrated.
Who's Brian Little? And then you're like, holy shit, this guy. Sorry, Mike.
Hey, we got the swearing out of the way. And it wasn't me. It was good. Last time I was the last one to swear.
Anyway, I think on the surface, trading away Phil Kessel, one of the greatest goal scorers in the league in the last while. Seems like a sketchy move, but he did end up with a lot of good pieces. So I think Sean's poised for some good stuff.
I think so. Sean knows what he's doing. He's a veteran. He's been around.
He's been here from the beginning.
He's been around. He's slept with a lot of people.
I can't speak to that.
Oh, I can. Number 14, Matt McInnes with the Norsemen. They had a bit of a fun night on the town last night.
Apparently so.
Yeah, there were a lot of trades done.
Got a lot of interesting emails in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, I am a big fan of trade delegations under the influence of alcohol.
Yeah, well,
big time.
It didn't seem like any terrible moves were made, but definitely some interesting moves were made.
You seem to think that Matt got hosed. Matt got hosed. With the trade with Eric.
Matt made possibly the worst trade in SICHL history.
Wow, that's a bold move. So the Weber deal I made is not the worst, which is great.
No, I mean that was a bad trade potentially.
Sure,
but it might work out for you.
It might, but it pales in comparison because
Matt traded a beer for what? Some guy named Pelich. Pelich. Some guy named Langhammer, and a beer. Now
what do you think a beer is worth in a draft pick?
Certainly a lot more than either Langhammer or Pelich.
I would say it probably depends on the beer, and it probably depends on the draft pick.
The biggest part of that deal, no question, was that beer. And we both know Eric and Matt
don't drink.
Are beer guys.
They're beer guys.
It was a good beer.
It had to have been a good beer.
We can only assume it was a craft brew. It was probably a delicious beer.
Probably.
And Eric went home. Well, he probably stumbled home. But
yeah, we heard about that one.
Eric totally won that deal. There's no question.
It could be the deal of the year.
I would. Well, there's a potential deal.
One of the worst deals of the year.
That may be coming up.
The Cougars are at number 13, still in the playoffs. They didn't do a ton of trades, but they did acquire
Eric Stahl.
Express mainstay Eric Stahl. Now, this was earlier in the year.
This was a month ago or so.
A month ago? Okay.
2 months ago, maybe.
And what made you trade Eric Stahl?
I was in a situation where I had too many UFAs upcoming.
Right. Okay. That means unrestricted free agents.
Unrestricted free agents. Yeah, exactly.
See, I know what I'm talking about.
And Eric Stahl was just not... For one, he was barely putting up any points for me.
Okay.
And two, he was out injured for a long time, and then he came back, and then he was injured again.
What a hoser.
And no points, and always injured. And I had basically to come down between either Stahl or Yuri Hudler as my potential franchise player.
Good move.
So I thought I should try to get something out of Eric Stahl before he just was lost to free agency.
Carolina is also like a vortex of awful, and I seemingly will be forever.
I don't know. I feel like Carolina is a lot better than they are playing, but Hudler has just been outperforming Stahl all year, and
and we got to put on our jinx hats and say to Tom, Tom, you have no injuries right now.
Yeah, so Tom's sitting at number 13
Zero
in the power
injuries.
rankings. Looking pretty good in the standings.
13. Lucky 13.
Lucky 13.
No
in a year
injuries.
of 2 Friday the 13th so far.
Yeah. How about that? Good luck, Tom. Hope you make the playoffs. The Wheat Kings. Doug has made a lot of deals this year. We looked at the Wheat Kings draft history or lack thereof. How are the Wheat Kings not terrible every year?
This is a question that I feel like comes up at every SICHL meeting.
It's amazing.
It's too bad that Doug has not come to Toronto or Vancouver, or we need to have some sort of event at some point where we can get all the GMs together.
Yeah.
And hopefully Doug would show up.
Anyway. What an interesting idea.
Yeah, maybe that'll come time.
Perhaps in a few years or something. Yeah.
Anyway, if we could ever organize something, it'd be great if Doug would show up, because I feel like his team is... We just don't understand it. Most of us really love drafting. The drafting is like Christmas.
That's fine.
And Doug just... we just looked at the draft history. I think in the last 10 years, he has only made draft picks in 3 of those years.
Yeah, most GMs would slit their own throats if they had no draft picks in a year. Doug dances to the beat of his own drum.
He does. And yet, here he is again.
Here he is.
With a competitive
Number
team.
12. He's got a good goal differential.
He just doesn't go away.
He's not quite... I don't think... Is he in a playoff spot? He's in 9th right now. 1 point back. He's made some good deals.
Plus 22 or something.
Yeah, really good goal differential. He's poised to take over. So it's nice to see that. Because we don't want every team to be the same. We want outliers like that. We want guys taking risks and being different.
Yeah, well, especially guys like Guy who hoard all the draft picks. They love having guys that give them away.
Don't encourage him. All right.
I think Guy's at the roster max. He's screwed for...
Good. Number 11, the Cannons. The Cannons acquired Hannon, which was funny to me for like half a second. So a good deal. They acquired your new boy Max Talbot from De Beers and a couple second round pick swaps. No deadline deals, but he's 7-3 in the last 10, and they could do some stuff according to you.
They could do some stuff.
They
made some incremental deals, would we say?
Right.
They acquired some depth, in a few trades this year, and they're sitting pretty okay.
Quebec, even after they've sort of dropped in the rankings, as everybody almost does, they haven't dropped off far enough to completely go out of the race. So, like, I feel they've managed their losing streaks pretty well. So they've stayed in contention. They're making the playoffs right now, I think. Yep, they're sitting in 7th. They're going to be in a dogfight for the rest of the season, but it wouldn't surprise me to see them emerge as a playoff contender. That's good to see. Number 10, the Admirals, and this is a peculiar team. I can't quite seem to get a read on the Admirals, especially when they beat me. Today, Kenny got Daniel Winnick.
It's an incredible deal for him.
Wow! Would you say that's breaking news?
Well, it was. It's breaking. It was breaking. But...
It was breaking news. So what do we think about the Admirals? They also gave up Jimmy Howard in exchange for Jensen, Svedberg, a 3rd, and a 5th. And, breaking news at the deadline again. He traded Heinen for a 2nd round pick in 2018.
That's thinking long term.
That is the long term. And then he traded Olli Jokinen for a 3rd round pick.
Which I think was a solid deal for the Express. The Admirals, though, where are they in the standings?
The Admirals are 5th in the World Conference.
For a team that is clearly in contention,
Right.
to be giving up pieces that are good now
Yeah.
was a bit confusing to me, but I'm not
It is.
complaining because I needed another center and I picked one up.
Yeah, and I'm not complaining because they're right behind me in the standings.
Right. Well,
So I want them to fail miserably. Kenny, I hope you have an awful final 17 games.
so I think we all agree, great job, Admirals.
Great job, Kenny. You've made both of us very happy. Number 9. Oh boy, it's the Express. Number 9.
Yes.
Now I think we probably could put the Express a little higher, but basically the rule is if you're doing the power rankings with me, I'm going to drop you a couple spots.
Well, you could have put me higher, but
I could have. I could put you lower.
The next few teams are all they're pretty solid. I mean,
Very
it's all
close.
pretty
Very close. Yeah. So you got rid of Eric Stahl for Scott Fart Smell.
Scott falls down a lot, Hartnell, I like to call him.
He falls down a lot. Okay, yeah.
I think he has a charity involved with how many times he falls down.
You're gonna bring up the charity and
Slash
make me look like
dies.
a jerk. Well, that's fine.
I think you made yourself look like a jerk, but
I do
anyway.
that. I do that on my own. It's true. So you are looking so bad that I'm going to die of coughing. So right now the Express are in 5th, or rather you're tied with the Huskies, and you could still end up.
You're looking at the toughest F-150 ever. Yeah? Oh yeah. 700 pounds lighter, so it's got even more towing and payload. Sweet. Jump in. It's $349 a month for 24 months, so you can get a new one in 2 years. Not 7 or 8 like the other guys. I'll take it. Sorry, this one's mine.
Mr. Thompson, you're good to go.
Thank you. Okay. Hey, don't worry. When I searched online, I saw another blue one for you. Thanks.
With everything the all-new 2015 F-150 has to offer, it's easy to get into a Ford.
Even second in the conference if all things go according to
Second
plan.
in the conference is a bit optimistic, I think, but
Yep.
I think I could reasonably finish 3rd, maybe.
Yeah, you could. Are you happy with your deadline deals?
My deadline 1 deal of acquiring Olli Jokinen, having David Krejci out for another week, I think. And really having no center depth behind him. I've got Mark Letestu, who's really more of a 3rd-line guy.
Test tube. Yeah,
And I have
Mark
Yuri Hudler is rated as a winger. Really, he does have center as one of his possible positions, but he can't take a face off to save his life.
So I guess his face-off rating is like 36 or something.
31, I think.
It's so weird.
So I kind of needed another center, so I
Right.
picked one up for depth once Krejci's back, and for the interim, he'll be probably getting first-line minutes. So
Very cool.
and my defense is all right. So I think I don't need that many guys up front as long as nobody gets shots or scores.
Sure hope none of them get injured.
I hope they don't get injured as well.
It's
Are
something
you trying
we
to put
both.
the jinx on me.
No, it's something we both agree on. You're in the other conference. That doesn't matter to me, unless we meet in the finals again.
That'd be funny. I don't think we'd be able to explain away how you made the finals this year. I mean,
It would be more insane me making the finals this year than when I made it 2 years ago.
Mike Smith was.
At least that made
It
sense
was
in
an
the construct
aberration,
of the
but it was
sim.
like, okay.
It made
the
sense
sim
for what it
clearly
was.
thought that
Yeah.
Mike Smith could play nets, and so they let you. I mean,
Reality
and
says
the World
differently.
Conference was terrible, so I mean, anybody could have won that.
Come on, guys! Don't let World Conference. I want you to win this year and prove our commissioner wrong.
Not gonna
Super. No, the Supersonics won't make up their mind. They go hot, they go cold, they go hot, hot, cold, hot, rinse and repeat. No deadline deals, but they did acquire some good experience and leadership in Joe McGinley, Chris Phillips, and Marty Brodeur. Yikes!
Yeah, that Brodeur deal was a bit weird.
Yes, it was.
There must have been a contract involved in that thing because it was Marty Brodeur, the best backup goalie, fringe starter in the league.
in the playoffs, he'll be money. He'll be completely
75 overall.
Yeah.
You get traded for Habib Bulin, who's rated 59.
The Bulin Wall is not not what he was.
It's a curious deal. It's not a hockey deal.
No, perhaps Habib Bulin was out partying and embarrassed himself, and the team wanted to get rid of him.
Maybe.
That's the only thing I can think of. Most suspicious. Steen for MVP.
Steen, oh yeah. Steen is up there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Certainly ahead of Barrett Carlson.
Oh, I didn't say.
Moving on.
Yeah, I didn't say anything. Don the Huskies acquired Alfredson for fan favorite Jordan Tutu. I can't say that with a straight face. A 6th round pick and 2 7th-round picks. The Huskies haven't been in the limelight much this year, but they've also never gone away and can really beat any team on any given night. So I think it's okay Don didn't make a lot of deals.
No, and that deal I think was like months ago.
It was a long time ago.
It wasn't a deadline deal. But yeah, it must have been heartbreaking for Don to lose Jordan Tutu. I know he was a huge part of
he's dear to everybody's hearts.
what they were building in Whitehorse for many years. But ultimately, I think everybody can agree that Daniel Alfredson is a much better player for a playoff-bound and potentially dangerous Huskies team. Don't
underestimate experience and leadership. When I made my finals run, Teemu Selanne did not have the best ratings, but his experience and leadership were 99 for each, and he led the whole playoffs in scoring. So it really does mean a lot. It doesn't mean anything in the regular season.
Teemu Selanne, who does he play for now?
He plays for you.
Ah, yes. Yeah. What a brilliant move.
That was a good move.
Yes.
I just thought he would come back to me and like not take your filthy money.
I got him for like $2 million in free
but see, for me, I need to overpay somebody to play on my team.
Ah, okay.
So that was the mistake. That was the mistake. Yeah. Number 6 are the Schooners. The Schooners' biggest splash was earlier in the season, getting Shea Weber from me. He got the Jaguar, blah blah blah. Tradeapalooza, beer, weird, a lot of weird stuff going on.
Eric. 2 thumbs up. Obviously, the big winner on trade deadline.
Still waiting to hear what kind of beer it is. So you have to tell us in the comments what beer it was.
Yeah, well, we assume that the beer was exchanged. I mean, I have to go back and reverse the deal if the beer didn't get exchanged in Vancouver.
Well, it wouldn't have been able to.
We assume it wasn't future considerations beer.
Would future considerations include beer?
Well, there was another deal involved. Another deal from the Tradeapalooza did involve future considerations, which.
Interesting.
Weren't submitted to the league, so I guess we can't really officiate over when those considerations.
Perhaps we'd have to sample the beer.
Yeah, well, the beer, I think,
really belongs to all of us.
I like that idea.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of a communist league, but that's okay. So the Schooners at number 6.
No, communism
in theory. Number 5. So rounding out the top 5. The Riders. Sylvain, stop overtaking my team. Has remained very quiet, but has quietly been kicking ass, and now finds himself in the top 5 of the rankings again. They passed me in the standings. Everyone calm down. It's okay. I still have time to overtake him. But all quiet on the Riders' front, but not such a bad thing when you're as good as them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to bring things down, but I hope Sylvain is okay, because he's been very quiet this year. I've not really heard from him much.
Have you heard from him at all?
I've heard from him. Otherwise, he at least checked in at the start of the year.
He did. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's been like submitting lines and stuff.
It's possible. That's all automatic.
Perhaps he's dead and a ghost is submitting his lines.
I don't think you should joke about that kind of thing. Because
I'm not joking.
We've had some interesting health issues that have cropped up over the years in the SICHL. You know.
Ghost related.
Ghost related.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I won't joke about it.
But anyway, he's got his team is doing fantastic.
He's doing really well. Yeah.
Whatever's going on in Reykjavik,
it's working.
It's working.
It's really working.
Yeah.
Number 4, the Aces. Now, Mark, I'm going to give this one to you because there was a potentially blockbuster deal.
Potentially, definitely, at least a close, definitely a competitor with the beer deal, because there's a lot of pieces that were potentially moved. The Aces acquiring a bunch of players, trading a bunch of players, picks were involved.
Can you let me know what the other team was? Was it multiple teams?
It was just one other team.
One other team, okay. Can you tell me who they rhyme with?
No.
No, okay.
But, unfortunately, I think the deal's going to go through at the end of the day.
Good.
Because, ultimately, I basically trust you guys not to make stuff up. In the confirmation email that I received from Dustin, there was a full email exchange where the last email I saw had the other GM's confirmation in it, which appeared to have my email address as one of the 2 fields. Yeah. So it should have been received at the league, but it just didn't show up.
I mean, you have the power to overturn it.
Yeah, but I like to enforce the deadline at midnight. Sure. But in this case, I think we're going to chalk it up to a bit of a fax machine issue, and that deal will just show up on the site, and I think it'll be pretty obvious that it's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about it.
It's huge. The Aces are definitely a lock for the playoffs. Wouldn't surprise me to see them make a return trip to the finals and avenge their loss.
In terms of World Conference teams, the Aces are aces.
Yeah, they are. They're really good. Number 3, the Mustangs, and we have the deadline deal we already talked about. Matt acquired LeCavalier for Maroon and Jensen from Pat Slammers. I've given up being surprised at the Mustangs still being this good, but I definitely did not see them being this good.
No, me
neither. They are as surprising as they are good as the Colonials and the Falcons are not as good in the standings. Like, it totally shocks me. But not a huge amount of deals, but again, it's one of those teams that, hey, they're doing really well. Do they really need to make a lot of changes?
Yeah, I mean, I think Matt's kind of a fun story in the SICHL, where he joined the league at like age 16 or 14 or something. We don't really know. He didn't tell us his name, his age, or anything, but he left the league at some point to go to college, and now he's back, and he's got a kid, and this league's been going on for a long time. And now he's got this team that, I don't know, he's found a way to win this year.
It's really cool.
Good on you, man. It's good to see you up there.
I mean, the Mustangs never really cracked the top 5 last year, top 10 or anything like that. And at the the preseason rankings, I don't think we had them that high. So always nice to see some happy stories, some success stories like that. So good job, Matt. So we're down to the final 2. What?
Oh, sorry. We just talked about the World Conference. I don't know how I forgot about the next team.
The next team might make you eat your lack of words. So the Monarchs are at number 2. They were fairly quiet at the deadline, but before that they did acquire a few good players, Phil Kessel and Joe Thornton.
A couple of good players.
So now, Mark, they have Ovechkin and Malkin, and they have Joe Thornton and Phil Kessel.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a rule in the rulebook saying that that's not fair.
It's something like 97 scoring for Ovechkin, 90 scoring for Kessel, and 99 passing for Malkin and Thornton. So do you make an insane first line? Do you make an insane first and second line and just put, like, I don't know, Chris Kunitz on the wing? Like, anybody could look good?
I hate Chris Kunitz now.
I mean, anybody could play wing with those guys.
I could play on the wing.
Okay, well, not anybody.
Well, that's true. No, not me.
Anyway, the Monarchs are a monster.
They're poised. They're poised for sure. I really don't see any other team in the World Conference upsetting one of those two. It's going to be the Monarchs and the Aces in the conference final, I think. I don't really see anyone else having the depth. The Riders might have a chance.
The Riders.
Yeah, if my team's fully healthy and I bribe Mark heavily, I still don't think I'll have a chance. So
yeah, bribes don't really work. The sim doesn't understand bribes.
The sim is very cruel. And number 1, the How do you pronounce that? The Bars?
I think it's a typo.
The Beers?
The Beers. We've talked a lot about beer.
Duh, Beers. Nah, Guy, it's you. The Golden Bears are the best team in the league. They made a couple of trades. They got rid of Max Talbot. They did acquire Craig Adams, Bryce Salvador, so a couple of depth players and some experience there. Best team in the league right now?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And the best team for a while.
They've been the best. Yeah.
Guy has built a team through the draft that is pretty fantastic. This franchise is going to be strong for a while. Now, as I said at the start of the rankings, I think the Rapids are looking like they're taking the Bears' plan and maybe even heightening it even further, potentially. But right now, the Bears are, they're scary.
They're nuts. Yeah, you don't want to play them. I know they didn't make it last year, but it's hard to believe that they would get ousted early again this year. They're just too deep, too good. He didn't need to make any big deals. No, what's he going to do? Get more draft picks?
Well, he kind of did in a little bit of a smart way. I don't like to admit that I think that Guy's making smart moves. I don't want to go.
We've complimented you way too much.
But he just sort of made some incremental deals with players that he didn't need and just upgraded draft position on a few picks, which the smart deals for him to make because he wasn't going to need those players. So
no, No, that's true.
Yeah.
And that is it from Trade Center. Mark, any final thoughts? How did everybody do communicating with you and stuff like that? Everyone seems to be getting in the spirit.
I think the Tradeapalooza, we sort of alluded to. I don't know if everybody's aware that a bunch of the GMs from Vancouver all got together yesterday at a pub, and they had a few beers.
Yep.
And made some trades.
Yep.
And it was actually a very active trade deadline, which was great to see.
Yeah.
The league, just in general, like from January 1st to trade deadline, it's been a very busy time for trades and trade talk. And
I know, looking at the rankings, I always check the transactions, and it's like there's seemingly one every day. Like, it's just crazy, which is good. It means people are really involved and wanting to try new things, and it gives us more material to work with, which is always good.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were talking about earlier tonight. It's great that the community feels like we're going strong. Lots of trades, lots of stuff happening.
Very cool. Yeah, we're on the home stretch. We've got most teams have
15 games.
Not quite. 15 to 20 games left for most people. So what I'll probably do is just have one last power rankings after this, so sort of a grand finale, and that'll be in just about a couple of weeks. And have check the page every day. Mark, this games are going to be simmed tomorrow.
Well, by the time they see this video, it'll be today.
Okay, very cool. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks again, Mark, for coming all the way down here. And
thanks for having me.
Not a problem. And guys, please check out all the rankings and all the articles. I know it's a good way of improving our community is not just to be tunnel visioned on your own team. Check out the articles. Gary's done an amazing job on the Insider.
The Insider, you got to get on that Twitter.
Really
Gary's
cool. Get on the Twitter feed. Pat's recent articles about the playoff hunts are really good. Jeff's articles are always entertaining. Everybody's doing a really great job, but it's important that you give that feedback. So please leave comments, visit the forums, and I guess that's it.
Yep.
Thanks for watching.